Yo, what is up guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video we're going to go ahead and replace the gasket on the transmission pan and also the metal filter that goes on the bottom. And the reason we're doing this is because I'm not sure if I'm going to post a video before or after this video, but I had a issue with my O2 sensor that came off and it got damaged, so I replaced that. But then when I was down there I noticed a leak coming from the gasket, and I already knew it was there before, but I couldn't really see like a lot of fluids anywhere. It just looked like it was getting wet. But now I'm seeing fluid like dripping down from the pan itself, and I'm pretty sure it's the gasket. I didn't see any damage anywhere else. It looks like it's just coming from like the top portion and then dripping its way down. But let me go ahead and show you guys what it looks like, and we'll go ahead and start replacing the gasket and the filter at the same time. It was pretty cheap. It was like 20 bucks. But I'll link it down in the description below. I got it from Amazon. Let's go ahead and lift up the M45 and check it out. So here's the leak that I was talking about. Right now I cleaned the pan the previous time, and now it looks like it's good on this area, so nothing's leaking from here. But you can see that there's still buildup on this side right here. So I'm assuming it's just leaking from the gasket on the side right there. So I'm going to remove this to get it out of the way, see if there's any damage down there. But I also noticed that there's a leak right here, and this appears to be power steering fluid. And this line right here looks completely wet, so I wonder if this is just damaged because there's nothing else coming from anywhere else around here. So I think that this line might have some type of hole somewhere and it got damaged, so I'm gonna have to most likely replace that with a new hose, which shouldn't be difficult. And then right here you can see there's some buildup right there, and this looks like power steering fluid. So now we got another issue, and right here you can see that the hoses right here look completely dry up until it gets to this point right here where this hose is at. I'm gonna go ahead and begin draining the transmission. So I'm gonna take this bolt off right here, and then once it drains out, we can go ahead and start removing all the 10mm bolts right here to get the pan off. So I removed the pan, and this thing did not have a gasket at all. So I'm extremely surprised how well this thing held up without the gasket and only had a small leak on the side. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and replace this thing right here. It's only a few, I think these are 10mm still. So for sure, once we put the new gasket on, no more leaks. We just gotta clean up the surface. I can probably use like some type of sponge, but even then it's already pretty clean. There's not much on here, and it's a good thing that I actually have this mat right here, because it did spill quite a bit right there. It shouldn't go through. This thing's really good at retaining the oil and keeping it in the mat. All right, let's clean up the surface. Let's start removing this, and then we'll go from there. Alright guys, so we got everything cleaned up under the transmission. Now I wanted to talk about the pan a little bit because it does have these magnets that you can remove and clean, but also you want to clean the entire surface because it's going to look gray. It's going to have a bunch of, you know, metal shards, not even like shards, but you can see like all the metal pieces in there just sticking to the pan. You can still see like a little bit right there, how it's like gray. You want to take all that off and then clean off these magnets that are right here. Same thing with this one. I have not cleaned this one yet. You can see that it's really dirty, so we need to clean that one up right now. So let's go ahead and clean this up. I wouldn't recommend using water because you don't want any water to mix in with your transmission fluid. So just use a towel or a paper towel in order to be able to take everything off and then just throw it back in the car. The surface already looks extremely smooth on everything, so it honestly looks like the previous person that worked on this car took it off, cleaned everything, and then just threw it back on. They either forgot to put the gasket on or they didn't know it had one, which is pretty funny. But let's go ahead and clean this up and then we'll throw it back on the car. Here's the gasket placed on top, and everything lines up as it should. And it does go a specific way because right here you can see it kind of like curves down, and then right here it has a sharp angle, so that's how it's gonna go on there. My only concern is if everything is gonna like go in evenly, because it just kind of like move a little bit. So it'd be a good idea to have something on here so it kind of sticks so it doesn't move around. I mean, I can try to put like a bolt in on one side and then another one so it doesn't move as much, but I think I'm still gonna have a little bit of trouble. But I mean, it should be doable. Yeah, let's go ahead and actually clean this up a little bit more because I'm seeing that some dirt got in here on the side. So let's go ahead and make sure that it's completely clean before you throw it in, because you don't want dirt to be inside and mess up, you know, your components inside of your transmission. But yeah, let's go ahead and throw this thing back on. Alright, so I got most of them on there. It actually wasn't as difficult as I thought. I just put like one on this side right here. I'll put another one over there, make sure we're lined up. And then on the back, I would have my hand like on the inside. So I still had like some leverage to be able to get my finger in there, pull it up. And then I put a bolt in there and everything pretty much lined up as I kept going around. So it wasn't as difficult as I thought it would be. And now I just got to put the rest of these in there. And we should be good to go. Like I said, this does not have to be extremely tight because you're gonna end up messing up the gasket because it is plastic, you know, it's not anything crazy like RTV. But yeah, let's go ahead and put the rest of these on here, and then we're gonna have to add fluid into the transmission. So let's go ahead and pick it back up later once I finish this up. All right, everything's put now back in place. We're gonna go ahead and add about 3 quarts of brand new transmission fluid that I have extra from Nissan. I just checked the pan over there and it read exactly 3 quarts, so that's what I'm gonna put back in, and then we'll see where it's at, and then we'll turn it on, see if there's any leaks or anything going on, anything crazy. But so far it's looking good. I'm gonna add some tape around these connections right here just because they're like broken, so I don't want any water to like get in there and mess up the connection in there. So I'll do that, and then we'll see if we have any problems. I hope we don't, but you never know. Let's go ahead and add the fluid in there. Alright guys, so the car's running right now, no issues whatsoever with this leaking, but I found another leak right here. As you can see, that hose is leaking right there from the top section, so I need to go ahead and replace that. The good thing is it's just the hose, so I can easily just buy a new one, replace it from right there to this end section over here. It goes connected right there to that top one, so it's an easy fix. And I actually need to replace my top ones as well because those are leaking, so I'll do that at the same time. And I might actually end up upgrading the reservoir as well, so that'll be a cool video. Get to upgrade a few things, replace this. It is leaking quite a bit, as you can see right there. Just in a short amount of time, it already leaked. And then we're adding the fluid right here on the back. There's a plug right there. Let me see if I can turn my flashlight on. There you go, going right there. I'm doing 4 quarts. I keep seeing a lot of information of, you know, 3.5, whatever comes out. Some posts I see 4 to 5 quarts. Honestly, it's hard to say because I keep just seeing a bunch of information of, you know, how much should go in there. But I'm using matic transmission fluid from Nissan. This is the upgraded version. It usually takes J, or originally took J, and they upgraded to S. So that's what I'm going to be using. I'm doing 4 quarts, but the information says just to put in whatever came out and or use 4 to 5 quarts. So I'm doing 4 right now, see how it drives, and then if I feel like I need to add more, I'll add more. Alright guys, so before closing out the video, I wanted to go over a few more things that I feel like you guys should know before doing this, and consider doing something like this on your car if you're just planning on doing like a flush, or if you actually want to change out the gasket on your transmission. Now, here is the filter that I had removed from the transmission, and then right there you guys can kind of see there's like this piece right there, and then on the top there's a bunch of particles right there. See all that stuff? All of that was in the filter when I removed it. So this is supposed to last the lifetime of the transmission, and as you can see, this one was pretty dirty, and this is pretty concerning as well, because I wonder if something like this is going to cause serious damage to the transmission later on in the future. Especially, you know, after finding something like this, you never know what could happen. There's these little pieces right here at the bottom that were there as well, like that orange one that was in there, this was in there, all that stuff that's right there was all in the transmission after replacing it. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. And this is what I was talking about right here, how dirty it is. You can see all that stuff right there. Whenever you do a flush, you're pretty much draining out all the stuff that's in there, cleaning it out. And supposedly what I'm hearing or I'm seeing online is this stuff, like the metal pieces, actually helps the transmission shift better when it gets old. I don't know what percentage of that is actually true, but that's what I read online, and I'm just trying to share the information. If you do this, do it at your own risk. So, you know, before I work on my cars, I like to do a lot of research to make sure that whatever I'm doing is okay and it's not going to cause any damage. Now, as you guys can see, there was no gasket on the transmission, so that means somebody most likely worked on this transmission before and replaced the fluid. So it's kind of like a good and a bad side that it didn't have a gasket. Good thing is that somebody worked on it, so most likely they went ahead and changed out the fluid. Bad thing is it didn't have a gasket, and it could have possibly caused a really bad leak, causing damage to the transmission. So that's one thing that I thought about as well, but I didn't know that that had happened, so I was just doing it at my own risk. So if you do go ahead and do a full flush and your car or your transmission has a lot of miles, it could possibly slip after you go ahead and do the flush. I haven't had any issues. After driving it for a week, it just kind of hesitated like the first day when I did the flush, and now it's completely normal, didn't have any issues. But I also read that after you do a flush on the transmission, that it has to kind of adjust itself again to running on cleaner fluid versus having old fluid, which could actually be helping out the transmission and prolong the life of it. So just some information I thought I'd share with you guys. The last thing I wanted to talk about was the amount of fluid to put in your transmission after you do a flush. Now, online, I was reading that it should be 4 to 5 quarts. Now, I was seeing a lot of people when they were draining it, that they would go ahead and just do like 3.5 quarts, which sounds correct. But when you remove the pan itself, the actual hole where you take the drain plug out is actually higher than the lowest level of the pan. So if you could imagine, there's possibly close to about a quart in there left when you take that out and you actually remove the pan. Then at that point you may need about 4 quarts. I only took out 3 quarts from my transmission, but it could be very possible that it was just leaking over time and it got a little bit low. So luckily I found this issue and I was able to fix it. But again, like I said, do this at your own risk. There's a possibility you may have issues with your transmission after you do the flush, or you may not. Like me, I didn't have any issues, but I wasn't too worried because I have an extra transmission sitting in the back that only has about 50k miles. So if something happens to it, I could easily just swap in that new one and I'll be good to go. But yeah, that is pretty much it. The fluid that I used was matic. You guys can purchase it on Amazon, and or you can get it from your local dealer. They always have it in stock. On Amazon, it was honestly the same price for what they sell it at the store. At the store, I think it was like $16, and Amazon was like $17. So you pick your price. But I do know that Concept Z, local to Arizona, does sell it for like I think $11, which is actually cheaper than the dealer, which I would have gone over there, but the store is actually really far from me. It's like in Deer Valley, which is like an hour and 30 minutes from me, and I didn't want to drive all the way over there to be able to pick it up. It would actually make more sense just to order it, because I'd probably spend the same amount of gas going over there and coming back. But yeah, that's gonna conclude the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys have any questions, any pointers, feel free to leave them down in the comments below. I do want to make a few more videos. I will be fixing the leak on the power steering. I did order a aftermarket power steering reservoir So if that works and it fits, we'll use that. If it doesn't, we'll just fix the issues and go from there. And as for Hot Wheels, I know this was a long video. I haven't really picked up too many, if I'm being honest with you. There's a new set that just came out that I really want. But I did find this Camaro SS, not the treasure hunt, but it is still a pretty sick car. But thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, and I will catch y'all in the next one. Peace.